Hello, everyone. I am filming this. Excuse the look. Today was a day. Um, but I am filming this because I am trying to be more intentional about how I and who I express myself to. Um, but today is the day after the George Floyd investigation finally came to an end, although it was on video for the world to see. Um, and the murderer, police officer, terrorist, Derek Chauvin, is um, been found guilty, which is such a relief. It is such a relief, and it is so um, sad that this is a relief because police should be held accountable for their actions. And um, I had someone tell me that they felt bad for him going to jail. And I was like, I don't feel bad because murderers go to jail. It's the consequence of his actions. And I have recently been in conversation with some people that have upset me in a very deep way. And it's helping me. This conversation was really helpful for me to understand how people perceive the Black American experience. Um, and it is not refreshing, let me tell you. I guess like maybe I've been in this little progressive bubble of like people trying to listen and learn, and from the experiences of the Black American community. Um, but wow, wow, it's so hard to hear, and it's hard to not be given the opportunity to fully respond. I know in this conversation I was cut off. I wasn't allowed to finish my thought. Um, and that is the typical position for African American women that African American women find themselves in, is having to shut up and having to suppress these emotions. And I know from studying public health that that suppressed response, it increases high blood pressure and contributes to Black Americans dying prematurely. And so, yes, I just cannot believe that someone could say the things that and think the things that I have heard today about my community, a community that is so misunderstood, and that no matter how much we articulate, no matter how well we articulate ourselves, we are always misunderstood. Our experience and our feelings are always misunderstood. And I've come to the conclusion today that it's because people are committed to misunderstanding us. Even people that look like us, that don't necessarily have the same intergenerational trauma, if you will, on top of the trauma that we have for being Black today. Um, but then to spiritualize it, and to say like, oh, Black Americans are oppressing themselves by being stuck in slavery. And, Jesus came to liberate us. So we shouldn't live in fear of the police. And these things affirm that evangelical theology can be used and is used very often to harm Black people. And it is why I cannot, if I'm true to myself, perpetuate this theology and think of it as God's work to deconstruct that theology. These people who are telling me that I'm oppressed think that they're liberated, and I'm looking at them like, you are oppressed and ignorant. You are oppressed and ignorant. And you sitting up here looking at me, feeling bad for me. Don't feel bad for me, because Black people don't believe that we're less. If we believed that we're inferior, then we wouldn't be saying, you wouldn't hear anything from us. We would just accept our societal role in this country. But the outcry, the protests, the movements, the social media, the everything, the TV shows and the clothing brands affirming Blackness, all that is because we believe in ourselves. All of that is because we demand better for ourselves, if not for ourselves, for our children. People in the streets are bitter. That's what I heard today. People protesting are bitter. Was Martin Luther King bitter? How? Why are we labeling these people bitter? First of all, if they're bitter, they have a lot of good reasons to be bitter. The amount of ignorance that I have had to stomach today is disgusting in my own home. Disgusting. And I don't know how to process it. I've done everything that I know how to do. I've tried to do yoga, who can I talk to about this? Who can I talk to? Everybody that I know that is Black already knows this feeling, and we tired of talking about it. Sometimes I feel like the true curse of being Black in this country isn't slavery, isn't health disparities, it isn't the wealth gap. The true experience is, while enduring these things, no one will ever understand you. And I believe it's because people are committed to misunderstanding Black Americans. Black Americans and Black other parts of the world, formerly enslaved, the descendants of the formerly enslaved Africans, are a unique people group, because where is our home? Where is our home? I have learned today that we are not in all places in Africa. I don't want to overgeneralize, but to some Africans, we are looked down upon. And then here in this country, we're treated like George Floyd. But if I'm a good Christian, And if I've truly been liberated by Jesus, then regardless of constantly seeing unarmed Black women and children, I'm not supposed to be afraid, or afraid for my husband, or afraid for my daughter. Please make it make sense. Make it make sense. The mental well-being of Black people should be a priority right now. And if you're Black and you're watching this, and I want to encourage you to take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. And the best person that knows how to take care of yourself is you. Period. So I might be doing a few more videos, and I'm channeling this anger and discouragement and rage into a few blog posts coming up on the feminism and religion blog. One thing before I go really quick. Black women are in such a unique position because we have the stereotype of being angry and abrasive and aggressive. I feel so much pressure to never express that anger. And I feel like this, like I'm bound. I'm bound. I don't even know how to be angry and express anger because I've never let myself do it. But at the end of the day, I have to struggle with those emotions. I have to deal with that pain. I have to sort it out internally. And who knows, maybe that contributes to my major depressive disorder, or anxiety and things like that. So it's incredible how strong Black people are because we're still here. And after all this time, we still explaining ourselves. Fourth wave revolution is that, explaining ourselves, educating other people, because we still explaining ourselves in 2021. This is shameful and embarrassing and exhausting to be in 2021 and have to explain why Black people are afraid of the police, or explain why Black people recall the atrocities and the catastrophe of slavery. Like we can just get up and move on without ever thinking of it. That's what this country actually wants us to do, because then they'll never have to acknowledge it. There's never been a public acknowledgement, a public apology, reparations. They want us, they're mad because we don't let them forget. But we can't move forward until we acknowledge. We cannot move forward until we acknowledge. No justice, no peace. God has helped us all.